Good morning, everyone. My name is Carrie Sherman. I'm a practitioner at Creative Living Fellowship. It is my honor and delight to lead us this morning in the pre-Sunday service meditation. So if it feels comfortable to you, maybe close your eyes and get comfortable in your seat, in your chair. Maybe do a quick body scan, see if there's anything that may distract you for the next 20 minutes. While we go deep, connect with spirit, and just be. So let's take a breath together, as Reverend Sherry would say. Let's take a deep breath together. And settle in. And find that space within that calls that says, I am here. I love you. And all is well. So let's begin to bring ourselves back out of our meditative time, becoming more fully aware of our surroundings. Be very gentle with your body tempo as you come back into this outer world. Let's take a deep breath together. Let's refocus and reconnect with our surroundings. Thank you for joining me this morning. Namaste. Creative Living Fellowship's online Sunday service will begin in just a couple minutes.
Good morning, and welcome to the online Creative Living Fellowship service. Please join us in our opening song, Use Me.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth or the stars or all of creation. God is creator, all in all, needing us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. All that I'm saying is, command my hands. What must they do? Command my life. It's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. And God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
Good morning. I'm Jeannie Sovereigns, a licensed practitioner here at CLF. Our senior minister, Reverend Dr. Sherry F. McCreary, has the day off, but she'll be back next week. I'm delighted to serve as Sunday service host today and to welcome you to our online service. We are an independent religious science church, and we honor all paths that lead to truth. Our deep intention is to be a community of love, care, connection that opens hearts, expands consciousness, and transforms lives. And we do that through the principles and the practices of the science of mind. Practitioners Reverend Joyce Buchers and Peter Waring are holding our high watch for us this morning. This means that they're sitting in meditation and prayerful contemplation, holding a space as we move through this service. We thank you for your service, Joyce and Peter. I also want to give a shout out to practitioner Carrie Sherman for her pre-service meditation. Thank you so much, Carrie. So the people that make all of this possible every week is our Sunday service team members. That's Nicole Jordan, our Sunday service director. She and Deb Covington also serve as our AV team. Our tech support today is practitioner Reverend Mary Jane Hyde. We thank them for their service today. So in a few moments, Nicole is going to bring us our announcements. After the announcements, there'll be a brief gong wash, and following the gong wash, there will be a few moments of silence, and then practitioner Rhonda Emmerich will bring us the reading and the evocation. But first, here's Nicole with our announcements.
Good morning, Creative Living Fellowship. I am so happy and thrilled to be here today to bring you today's announcements. Meditation is a great mindfulness practice that helps us to be present in the now. Why not join us for midday meditation throughout the week to start or support your meditation practice? Midday meditation is at noon, Monday through Friday. We also have a 20-minute pre-service meditation on Sundays at 9:35 a.m. Join us for any of these meditations through our Facebook and YouTube live streams and in Zoom. Speaking of spiritual practices, join Reverend Jorge every Monday evening and dive deep into the heart of practicing science of mind principles. Say yes to this weekly invitation to apply Sunday messages and lessons to your day-to-day life. Using the practices of contemplation, prayer, and introspection, open up to see beyond your boundaries, self-interest, and transform your consciousness. You can participate in Monday practice with Reverend Jorge through our Facebook and YouTube live streams at 6:30 p.m. Stay connected and supported with your CLF family and join Reverend Sherry every Tuesday as she hosts a Community Care Connection Zoom meeting at 6:30 p.m. This week, Reverend Sherry will be leading us in Life's Purpose Visioning. This is a powerful process that reveals more the more you do it. Visioning is a spiritual practice that aligns you to possibilities for your life greater than you can ever have imagined. Join us this Tuesday and open up, surrender, and catch God's vision for your life. We look forward to seeing you then. The Ernest Holmes Book Study is currently reading Effective Prayer and meeting weekly on Saturdays to discuss. If you want to join the discussion, you still can. The Ernest Holmes Book Study is a drop-in group, so download your copy of Effective Prayer and read through part 3, and then join us on Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. The book is available for $6 download from the Science of Mind archives, and you can find the link in the comments. Reverend Dr. Sherry's masterclass, Self-Care, a Spiritual Practice, starts next week. And here she is to tell you more.
Hi, everyone. I have just a couple of questions to ask you. Do you spend a lot of time focusing on and taking care of others rather than on yourself? Do you find yourself so busy working that you barely have time for a break or for a meal? Do you have challenges setting boundaries for yourself? Do you sometimes wish you could just stop and have nothing to think about and nothing to do just for a while? Have you ever wondered what it would be like just to think about you and not think about anyone else? Would you like to learn what self-care really means for you? Because it means something different for everyone. If you answered yes to any of these questions, then my upcoming masterclass, Self-Care, a Spiritual Practice, is tailor-made just for you. In this class, we will be exploring what self-care really means, because it means different things to different people. We'll also be discovering how to create a space that honors you, how to create a space that is just for you. And that doesn't have to be a physical space. It can also be an emotional space or an energetic space. But the point is to make this space just for you. This is what self-care is all about. And as we learn to do these things, we learn to make self-care a part of our spiritual practice, or it becomes a spiritual practice in our lives. And so I'm inviting you to join me on Thursday evenings, beginning September 2nd, Thursday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30, or on Friday mornings from 10 to 12 for self-care, a spiritual practice. And let's learn how to take care of ourselves together. I look forward to seeing you.
If you haven't already, register today. Links for the evening and morning session can be found in the comments. This Friday, September 3rd at 6:30 p.m. is Quantum Chair Yoga and Meditation with Reverend Christopher Guru Karam Gallagher. Every first Friday of each month, join Reverend Christopher for powerful Kundalini yoga practices and meditation. And let me repeat, the Quantum Chair Yoga is now at 6:30 p.m. We did change that time. Creative Living Fellowship is a divine idea in the mind of God. That idea is seeking to be revealed to and expressed through each of us in the CLF community as we continue to expand and move forward. When we engage in the sacred practice of visioning together, we open up to make ourselves available to catch God's idea or vision for a creative living fellowship. And we develop a greater sense of community, our role in it, and our connection to the whole. You are invited and encouraged to be a part of our monthly community visioning on Sunday, September 19th at 11:30 a.m. and learn how God wants to show up through you as Creative Living Fellowship. We did have our first monthly visioning last month, and it was amazing, and I'm still getting insight. So make sure you join us. Remember, you can use text to give to make your contributions to CLF. Simply text the amount you'd like to give to 602-610-1868. And if it's your first time donating by text, you'll be sent a link to set up your account. And after that, it's as easy as texting the amount you'd like to tithe to 602-610-1868. Our Sunday prayer room is available to you after service today. Get your after service prayer with a practitioner by heading on over to Zoom using the link provided in the comments. Prayer room participants are transferred into a breakout room for a private and confidential session with one of our licensed practitioners. As Reverend Sherry says, there's no reason to walk around with a heavy heart. Our practitioners are here, especially today, to support you. And after service, we have Sunday fellowship too. Join us in Zoom and hang out, discuss the service, what's on your mind or heart, and connect with your CLF family. If you're in Zoom with us now, all you need to do is stay right in this meeting. And if you're not, then join us at the end of service. Links can be found in the comments or on our website under events, under our Facebook events, posted in the comments, or in your weekly newsletter. This goes for all of our other events as well that I've already mentioned today. That's it for today's announcements. It is now time to move on to our gong wash, followed by a moment of silence.
Good morning. Our reading this morning is from Radical Acceptance, Embracing Your Life with the Heart of a Buddha by Tara Brach. The quality of tenderness and love and goodwill that naturally awakens in us response to seeing goodness is known in Buddhism as metta, or loving kindness. Loving kindness begins with ourselves and then opens out to include others. Those we love, those we consider neutral, those that we may have a hard time feeling goodwill toward, and ultimately to all beings everywhere. While it can be very hard to send wishes of loving kindness to those that we have difficulty with, by doing so, we enlarge the capacity of our hearts to love unconditionally. The Buddha taught that no other spiritual practice has the value of loving kindness. He said, loving kindness, which is freedom of the heart, absorbs them all. It glows, it shines, it blazes forth. As we practice sending wishes for happiness and peace to ourselves and to others, we touch the beauty and purity of our true nature. The practice of seeing goodness awakens loving kindness, and the practice of loving kindness enables us to move through life more awake to the goodness within and around us. And as we continue in this space, we open our minds, we open our hearts to love. We open our minds and our hearts to gratitude, recognizing that there is just one, that one that is present and expressing itself in and as me right at this moment is the same one that is present and expressing itself in, through, and as everyone on this planet. We are all one, we are all connected. Knowing that that one is present in every situation, in every circumstance, we know that our true nature is love and that we are one. I send special love and special blessings out this day to every member of our congregation, individually and collectively, knowing that God is present in all that we do. I send love and special blessings out to our dear Dr. Reverend Sherry today, wherever she is, knowing that she is in her right and perfect place and that she is surrounded by love. And I send blessings out to our guest speaker today, Reverend Jerry Troyer, knowing that his words are the words of God. I send blessings out to every teacher and every seeker of truth on this planet, knowing that we are one in love, in gratitude, in peace and harmony. And I send blessings out to the people in Afghanistan today, knowing that they are divinely protected. They are surrounded by love. They are surrounded by light, and that they are safe, and the true nature of love prevails all around them. And I send blessings out to our citizens of the United States and Louisiana and everyone in the path of the hurricane, seeing God's protective hand surrounding them. And for this prayer, I am grateful for the perfect manifestation, knowing that the law always says yes. I release this prayer into the law, knowing that it is done. I release, I let it go. And so it is. And I'm very excited to welcome our special guest this morning, our musical inspiration, Charles Holt.
Rolling
God. Little stones are smooth, only once the water passes through. Now I am a stone, rough and grainy still, trying to reconcile this river's chill. But when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hand, sometimes raging wild, sometimes swollen high, but never have I known this river dry. The deepest part of you is where I want to stay and feel the sharpest edges wash away. But when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am I'm just a little smoother in your hands. Rolling river God, these little stones are smooth. It's only once the water passes through.
Wow. Thank you, Charles. Oh, beautiful. At this time, it is my great pleasure to introduce one of my favorite authors and speakers, Dr. Jerry Troyer. Dr. Jerry has studied religious science and New Thought since 1992. and he received his ministerial license in 2005. He's a native of San Diego County, California, where he serves as staff minister at the Ohm Center for Spiritual Living in the San Diego area. And he is president of the Affiliated New Thought Network, an organization of independent New Thought religious science centers, of which Creative Living Fellowship is a member church. Dr. Jerry is also the author of the acclaimed book, Coming Out to Ourselves, Admitting, Accepting, and Embracing Who We Truly Are. And if you haven't read it, go get it. He currently lives in La Mesa, California, with his beloved English cream golden retriever, Maggie. Please help me welcome the incomparable Dr. Jerry Trower.
Thank you so much, Jeannie, and good morning, dear ones. It is my great pleasure to be back with you, at least virtually. Your theme for the month of August has been the kindness factor, and so we're going to finish up August talking about this experience of loving kindness. And thanks so much to Rhonda for the wonderful meditation and also reading the quote from the book that I'm using. I want to talk a little more about the concept of loving kindness, and then we'll move forward. Loving kindness, as you might know, defined in English dictionaries as a feeling of benevolent affection, but in Buddhism, loving kindness is thought of as a mental state or attitude cultivated and maintained by practice. In Pali, the word is metta. In Sanskrit, the word is maitri. And a quote from the Theravadian scholar Arshara Bukharita writes, the Pali word metta is a multi-significant term meaning loving kindness, friendliness, goodwill, benevolence, fellowship, amity, concord, inoffensiveness, and nonviolence. Metta is defined as the strong wish for the welfare and happiness of others. True metta is devoid of self-interest. It evokes within a warm-hearted feeling of fellowship, sympathy, and love, which grows boundless with practice and overcomes all social, religious, racial, political, and economic barriers. It is a universal, unselfish, and all-embracing love. And so what I'd like to do this morning is talk about this concept of loving kindness, especially from the Buddhist perspective, for others, as well as for ourselves. So I'm so glad you're with me this morning. Starting with this compassion and this loving kindness for other people. We have our tribe, or because there's a dog under the dining room table, our pack. And if you've had a cat or a dog as a pet, you know, or at least in some instances, they have their beloveds, they have their pack. My parents had a Dalmatian many years ago who just absolutely loved those of us who were part of the pack, and if you weren't, you couldn't come on the property, which is a whole separate conversation. There was some stuff going on with that dog's past, but nonetheless, so our tribe or our pack are those people who perhaps look like us, they think like us, they talk like us, they love like us, they believe like us. And so it's easy very often to offer this experience of loving kindness to people who we know and have a lot in common with. Because I don't like the word challenge, the opportunity is to look at widening that circle to include people who we don't necessarily have anything in common with. My other day job is working with Urban Street Angels, which is an organization in San Diego that provides housing and life skills training and job referrals to homeless 18 to 25-year-olds. I'm a founding board member and have been with the organization. Well, it's been 10 years, and thankfully, a couple of months ago, I started started working as a staff member. So I'm there 5 days a week. It's the most amazing experience, and especially because, and many people have asked me, how did you get started working with homeless young people? Were you homeless? Were you rejected? Did you have that kind of experience? And the truth is, I did not. I was loved. I was nurtured. I always had a home. My parents were married for 65 years. We lived in the same house for 50 some odd years. So I did not have those experiences that so many of those young people did. And I think that's why this really touches my heart so much, is because I have no concept of what they've been through. And so I want to reach out and offer them that loving kindness that they might not have gotten recently or even ever in their lives through that experience. We want to say to them, and we want to say to the people in our tribe, as well as to everyone, God bless you. We don't use that expression very much in religious science or New Thought. Many years ago, the church that I was pastoring was looking for another organization to share the space. And so most of the people that came to see it were from traditional Christianity. And so the first time I met with one of the ministers, as he was leaving, he said, God bless you. And I looked around to see, did somebody sneeze? Because so very often, the only time I say God bless you is when somebody sneezes. But listen to this wonderful explanation of the word, the expression God bless you, and especially the word bless. This is from How to Love and Be Loved by Jack and Cornelia Addington. They write, to bless a thing, or a person in this case, is to fill it with life. Life is expansion, and the thing or person will expand and progress. To bless it is to enfold it warmly in your thought and feeling and consciously desire its fullest and most beautiful expression. To bless is to send forth a power which is of God and therefore omnipotent. To bless is to take an inward stance in a relationship to something. It is to speak the word of good and then to stand silently while the currents of life flow through the patterns of your thought. To bless is to release the hidden life in everything. So can we, and we certainly can, the people we love, the people we want to hang out with, the people that are in our tribe or our pack, we can offer that blessing to them, but can we also offer that blessing to people who look different, act different, love differently, I guess, talk differently from us? Is there a way that we can do that? And of course, the short answer is, of course there is. As we recognize that I am and you are the beloved of God, we must recognize, thank you, Jeannie, and you, we must recognize that so is everybody else. So what is this experience of loving kindness? To me, it's because now I work in downtown San Diego, which is pretty cool, and there are parking meters. So the experience of loving kindness is if I'm parking in a parking space and I'm only going to be at the bank for 15 minutes, it's going ahead and paying the full time. And somebody's going to come by afterwards and say, wow, how cool is that? It's paying for the coffee or the toll for the person behind us. Several years ago, we were up, and I don't think you all have toll roads. You might, but and we don't in Southern California so much, but in Northern California there was one, and went over we were out a family trip, and with people in the front seat, people in the back seat, all scratching for money to come up to be able to pay the toll going across the bridge, because we don't have those in Southern California. And we didn't have to worry about it because the person ahead of us had paid our toll. It was $5. It wasn't that big a deal. It was huge. It was massive. It was so wonderful. Offering loving kindness is offering undivided attention. Put your smartphone down, turn it over, and either put it on, no, don't put it on vibrate or stun, turn it off, and offer that undivided attention. Loving kindness is taking advantage of the holy instant, which is, that those few seconds, Course in Miracles talks about this, those few seconds after something happens or somebody says something. And rather than immediately reacting or responding, it's allowing ourselves to take those few seconds to decide, do I need to react to this? How will I do it coming from love? And if I'm having a hard time coming from love, why is this bothering me so much? Compassion and understanding and unconditional love as part of this experience of loving kindness. I love Facebook. Now, I'm not a stockholder. I have no financial attachment to Facebook, but I just find the most amazing postings, and there's some goofy stuff out there, and so you just keep scrolling. But I'd like to share this with you, and if you'd like a copy of it, feel free to reach out to me, friend me on Facebook and reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to send it to you. The title of this is Small Kindnesses by Danusha Lamaris. And this was written in about 2019, and this really touched my heart. So bear with me if I just get a little bit emotional. I've been thinking about the way when you walk down a crowded aisle, people pull in their legs to let you by, or how strangers still say, bless you, when someone sneezes, a leftover from the bubonic plague. Don't die, we are saying. And sometimes when you spill lemons from your grocery bag, someone else will help you pick them up. Mostly, we don't want to harm each other. We want to be handed our cup of coffee hot and to say thank you to the person handing it, to smile at them and for them to smile back, for the waitress to call us honey when she sets down the bowl of clam chowder, and for the driver in the red pickup truck to let us pass. We have so little of each other now, so far from tribe and fire. Only these brief moments of exchange. What if they are the true dwelling of the holy, these fleeting temples we make together when we say, here, have my seat. Go ahead. You first. I like your hat. So the opportunity to share this loving kindness might look as something really big, and it might be something small to us, but massive to someone else. So we've talked about loving kindness for other people, and now we'll talk about quite possibly the more difficult one in loving kindness for ourselves. You remember Jesus in the Bible, in the New Testament, Jesus was asked the greatest commandment, and he said to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. And the second one is equally as important, to love one another as yourself. how do we treat ourselves? Do we love and offer compassion and loving kindness to ourselves? So often, I don't know about you, but so often I start my day in not enoughness. I don't know if that's a word, but I used it, so it is now. Not enough sleep, not enough coffee, not enough time, not enough money, not enough wisdom, not enough, and you get the idea that the list goes on and on. And then, because life does what life does, and if we are affirming that we're not enough and everybody else is not enough and we don't have enough, then the universe says, well, okay, and it just keeps going. Versus, I am enough, I have enough, there is enough. This wonderful book, Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach, she talks about this trance of unworthiness and that somehow we're not enough. Whether we got it as a message from our families growing up, whether we got it from the old residue of original sin, whatever it is, there's the opportunity, again, not challenge, but opportunity to check in and say, and with ourselves and determine what we really believe about ourselves. Sometimes in this not enoughness, we work really hard with self-improvement projects. And I love the classes and the meditations and the workshops that y'all do at CLF. And that's bringing you closer to the truth of your being. And that's wonderful. But sometimes our motivation is, I'll be okay as soon as I get the degree or get the whatever it is. And it's kind of like frosting a cake. Now, admittedly, I don't bake. There is no way in this life or the next one. But if you've ever had a cake and then frosted it, you plop the frosting and you use the knife or the spatula and you design. And then you design. And then you keep designing. And at what point do you finally say, that's enough? At what point do we say, I am enough and I have enough? Sometimes we stay stuck in past or future so that we don't allow ourselves to be in the lusciousness of this moment and to admit that maybe this moment is not so luscious. I think the last time I was with you in person, we talked about the experience of grief and loss, and how so often we don't allow ourselves to feel what we feel and instead cover ourselves with toxic positivity. Yes, everything is in divine order. Yes, everything is as it should be, but I'm feeling this grief, I'm feeling this loss. And so in this experience of loving kindness, we allow ourselves to be with those feelings, to feel them and process them through. We focus on other people's stuff. You know, your life would be so much better if you would just, and you get to fill in the blank. And of course, as I'm looking at your stuff, again, using a purely metaphysical term, as I'm looking at your stuff, I don't have to look at mine. So there's the opportunity to say, what's going on here? And maybe there's something else that I need to do in my life and not get so involved in yours. This, in the book, Tara Brach writes, this experience of radical acceptance is pausing and then meeting whatever's happening inside us with unconditional friendliness. Again, yes, I'm feeling frustrated because I really wanted to be in Phoenix this weekend, and instead, where it's 100 and something, and so instead I'm in San Diego where it's 80 something, but still, so we're not there yet, and so there can be that frustration, and we recognize that and honor that and allow ourselves to feel what we feel. Do you remember that wonderful writing by the Sufi mystic poet Rumi? He writes about the guest house, that this being human is a guest house with all of these guests of love and compassion and understanding and grief and anger and struggle. And we invite all of them in and greet them at the door laughing, because that's part of who we are. That's part of this experience of being spiritual beings having the human experience. In the book, The Gifts of Imperfection, Brené Brown writes, owning our story, our guest house, and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing that we will ever do. So what's going on in our lives today? And can we feel it, allow it, offer compassion for it, just as we would for someone else that we were talking with, and then allow ourselves to process it through? We bring alive the spirit of radical acceptance when, instead of resisting emotional pain, we're able to say yes to our experience, yes to this moment, this messy, under construction, not there yet moment. It's the truth of our being. It's who we are. It's wonderful. I'd like to close with a quote from the book, Radical Acceptance. And so I invite you to, we'll do this as my closing meditation. So I invite you to just take a breath if you'd like and get comfortable where you are. My beloved child, break your heart no longer. Each time you judge yourself, you break your own heart. You stop feeding on the love which is the wellspring of your vitality. The time has come, your time, to live, to celebrate, and to see the goodness that you are. Let no one, no thing, no idea or ideal obstruct you. If one comes even in the name of truth, forgive it for its unknowing. Do not fight. Let go and breathe into the goodness that you are. And so as we stay in this consciousness, we recognize our oneness with spirit, with the universe, with all of life. And in this oneness, we must be the essence, expression, and experience of spirit, just as everyone else is too. So moving forward today, we allow ourselves to offer this experience of loving kindness to others as we do for ourselves. We see that we're enough. We see that we're the beloved. We see and feel that we're always doing the best we can. We hold ourselves in love and light as the beloved child. For this day, for this technology, for this beloved spiritual community, we give great thanks. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you so much, Reverend Jerry, for that very moving and loving message today. Let's breathe that in. This is the time we participate in the divine law of giving and receiving by giving of our tithes and our offerings. CLF is a tithing church, and therefore we invite you to join us in this sacred practice by tithing here at CLF. Click on the donate link, which has been provided on our website or in the comments in Zoom or on Facebook. You can also text to give by using your smartphone. In whatever manner you choose to give to CLF, we deeply thank you for your continued financial support. Let's now repeat our offering blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God, and so it is. And now let's welcome back Charles Holt with our offering music.
Good morning, beautiful friends. Here's your friendly announcer. I have serious news to pass on to everybody. What I'm about to say could mean the world's disaster, could change your joy and laughter to tears and pain. Is that a loss in need of love today? Don't delay, send yours in right away. Hey, it's going round, breaking many hearts. Stop it, please, before it's gone too far. Hey, the force of evil plans to make you its possession, and it will if we let it destroy everybody. We all must take precautionary measures. If of love today, look around, you don't delay. Send yours in right away, send yours in right away. Hey, it's going around, breaking many hearts. Oh, stop it, please. You know it's gone too far. Hey, yeah, love, 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 love's in need of love today. Just take a look around you. Don't delay. Send yours in right away. Send it, send it, send it now, 'cause hey, it's going around breaking many hearts. Oh, stop it, please. You know it's gone too far. Hey, hey, ooh.
Thank you so much, Charles. It was beautiful. I just have a few closing announcements. One, Monday practice with Reverend Jorge every Monday evening from 6:30 to 7 on Facebook Live or YouTube. The Ernest Holmes book study, facilitated by Reverend Mary Jane Hyde, is still going on Saturdays from 10 to 12. It's a drop-in study. The new book is Effective Prayer by Ernest Holmes. Self-Care Spiritual Practice, a 4-week masterclass with Reverend Dr. Sherry, begins this week, Thursday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30 or Friday mornings from 10 to 12. You don't want to miss this. There are several opportunities for prayer by our practitioners. Remember the Zoom prayer room immediately after service. Practitioners will pray live with you in individual rooms. You can click on the prayer room link in the comments on Facebook and YouTube. Also, we are on call practitioners. You can contact us throughout the week. The info is in the comment section or on the website. You can also send written prayer requests to prayer@creativelivingfellowship.com. Zoom fellowship hour with practitioner Jeannie Sovereigns immediately after service. The Zoom link is in the comments section, and if you're already in Zoom, just stay with us. Also remember our community connection meeting with Dr. Sherry every Tuesday evening from 6:30 to 7:45. This week's is Life Purpose Visioning. Don't forget to use the treatment for supply. No time to relax on that now. It's on page 262 of the Science of Mind textbook. Continue to connect with each other. And thank you for allowing me to be of service today and for joining us. Dr. Sherry will be back next week. And also thank you again, Reverend Jerry, for your amazing message. And now our closing song, I Release.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my